Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday School. This morning, we're going to be sharing the story of the Good Samaritan. We're going to be telling the story as we do in my classroom, which is with the youngest children, and we're going to be using our Godly Play curriculum. A note for everybody, at the end of each story, we do have a lot of wondering questions. These are questions that we all think about together. There's not necessarily a right answer, a wrong answer, or any answer to them. It's just a time to think and to wonder together. So let's get started. This box is colored gold, and gold is a very valuable color. So what's inside must be very valuable. Maybe it's a parable. Parables are valuable, even more valuable than gold. This box is looking a little old. Parables are very old. They're older than you, they're older than me, they're even older than your grandparents. They're over 2,000 years old. So maybe there's a parable inside. And this box has a lid on it, and it's kind of like a present. So it could be a parable because parables are definitely presents. They were given to us long ago. And even if we're not old enough to know what a parable is, it's still a gift to us. It still belongs to us. There's only one thing left to do. Let's find out what's inside. It's brown, very brown, and very scratchy. It seems to be brown on both sides. Maybe it's a piece of toast or a giant cookie. I'm not sure, but it's just brown. I can't really tell what the story is, but maybe there's something else. I wonder what this could be. Oh, maybe it's a big Band-Aid for a giant's knee. Looks a little like a rubber band, but it's not very stretchy. Oh, I see what it is. It's a road going from this place to this place. Oh, these are certainly very black. No light inside at all. Very dark. These are for. I think that's everything we need to get ready for the story. So let's begin. There was once someone who said such wonderful things and did such amazing things that people just had to follow him wherever he went. He was used to being asked many questions along the way. And one time the people asked him, "What is the most important thing to remember in life?" And the man that they asked said, "You already know the answer to that." They replied, "Of course. It's to love God and to love all of my neighbors." But who are my neighbors? There was once a man who was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. And along the way, two robbers jumped out and they attacked him. They beat him and they hurt him. They stole everything that he had. And they left him on the side of the road, half dead. There was also a priest that day from the temple in Jerusalem who was going along the road on the way to Jericho. And when he approached the man who had been beaten and had everything stolen from him and was left on the side of the road, half dead, he moved to the other side and he continued on his way to Jericho. There was also that day on the road a Levite. Now, a Levite is someone who helps the priests in the temple, and they also help with the music, and they keep the temple clean. He was also on his way to Jericho. And when he came close to the man who had been robbed and beaten and left on the side of the road half dead, he moved to the other side and went along his way to Jericho. Also on the road that day was a man from Samaria. Now, Samaritans do not like the people from Jerusalem, and the people from Jerusalem do not like people from Samaria. As he traveled that day along the road to Jericho, he also came across the man who had been robbed and beaten and left on the side of the road. He immediately went to him and took care of him. He gave him medicine for his wounds. He cared for him. He even gave his coat to cover him. He let him ride on his donkey, and took him all the way and found an inn for him to stay for the night. He even stayed with him, caring for him throughout the night. That Good Samaritan left some money with the innkeeper so that if he needed anything in the morning, he would be helped. Here is the traveler that was along the road that day. I wonder who was acting as his neighbor. Was the priest a good neighbor to him? Or maybe the Levite. Was he a good neighbor to him? Were those two robbers a good neighbor to him? Was the Samaritan a good neighbor to him? Who's our neighbor? Here's one of the robbers. Was he a good neighbor to him? Was the man who was traveling a neighbor to him? That's a hard one. That day, when the man was traveling to Jericho, I wonder what would have happened if anyone who came across his path was a woman. And what if the person who found him by the side of the road, what if that person was a child? Would our story be any different? Here's our traveler. And here is the Good Samaritan. These were the two robbers. And the priest and the Levite who crossed him on the road. Here's Jerusalem and Jericho and our road. And some very dark places where our robbers were hiding. I hope you enjoyed the story. Have a wonderful day.